Hi everyone, I hope that you're well. Today and over the next few days, I'm going to be making a bit of a different video. Something that I've not really ever spoken about on this channel is that I'm a huge fan of creative writing, and I've been writing since I was really young. I made my own little booklet with this story called The Prophecy of Carden, and it was like a vampire werewolf story, and I made it when I was like 10. It was my first author experience, but I've been interested in writing since I was really young. And so as I got older, when I was around 16, 17, I started writing a bit more seriously. I have probably started like 10 different drafts, so like 10 different ideas, and I've never fucking finished any of them. Even if I think that it's a good idea, I never have the gumption to actually finish, and then I get distracted with life, and then like 6 months go by and I don't touch it, and then I don't feel motivated to work on the story anymore, and then I feel kind of disillusioned, and I'm like, maybe I'm not even good, maybe I'm not a good writer, and then I kind of just give up for a bit, and then I have a new idea, so I like kick the other draft to the side. I'm like, this is the idea we're going with, actually this is a much better plot line, and I'll go with this whole different idea, and then it's just a vicious cycle. I never fucking finish anything. I follow a lot of booktubers online, and I know a lot of them are actually writing books themselves, and what a lot of them do is they make like writing vlogs and things like that. Initially I actually really struggled to watch these kind of videos because it would make me feel really envious and like kind of jealous that I couldn't do this, and like feel like I wasn't good enough. I would also feel just really guilty because I was like, I could be doing this and I'm not. And then the more I actually watched that kind of content, the more I found like it actually motivated me, and so I kind of used those feelings of envy to actually get back into writing, and so a few months ago I started writing a new story, and this time I'm not going to fucking give up. I swear to you, like, it's not happening. I really want to finish it, but something that I thought would be really helpful to keep me accountable and kind of force me to follow through, because I'm really bad at following through, is vlogging it. I'm sorry, that's your guys' role now. I'm using this platform to hold me accountable and kind of force me to finish writing. Another thing that I really want to get back into is videos, and I actually have a lot of ideas and there's a lot I want to do, so stay tuned. We'll see if that actually happens. But as you can tell, I'm getting back into my creative pursuits, and I think it's because it's summer. I have a lot more time on my hands. I'm feeling like I have more brain space to actually think and process and actually do things that I care about, so it's kind of the perfect time to pick up like hobbies like this again, like YouTube, like writing. And this is kind of a two birds one stone thing with this vlog. Yeah, basically I have been writing this story. I had the idea in like 2020, so it's been like 3 years in the making, but I never actually really put pen to paper until a few months ago. My boyfriend and I had a weekend of just like following our creative pursuits, and so I started creating an outline of what this would look like, and I started writing. I've written, I can't remember how many words, I think it's over 10,000. I've written a certain amount. I want it to be a full-length novel. My goal is to hit between 90,000 and 100,000 words. It has a fantastical dystopian element to it, but in a lot of ways it's very much set in reality. I am hoping that it's an original enough idea and well enough written that people would actually like it. At the same time, it's kind of the first time I'm actually hoping to finish a novel, so if it doesn't turn out well, it's okay, but it would be really meaningful to me just to be able to finish it. And I think I'm such a perfectionist that that's one of the reasons I really struggle to finish, because I keep going back and re-editing what I've already written. And so this time I'm actually trying to just write, like just get it all down, and when I do reread to like figure out what the heck I was talking about previously, I try not to let myself make any edits, because the whole point is to just keep powering through until I'm done. And that's what drafts are for. Like, once I've gotten this draft done, I can draft it again and redraft it until I'm actually happy with it. But until I have a finished novel, I don't want to allow myself to redraft too much, or edit too much rather, because then you just never fucking finish. Like, this is like my life story is I'm too much of a perfectionist. I get too hooked up on like certain elements and whether things are perfectly written, and if I reread something and I feel like it's not, like, it's maybe a bit cheesy or maybe not my best work, I feel a bit despondent, and then I maybe also have a lot of self-doubt about whether what I'm writing is actually good. That is the kind of book I'm writing now. It's relatively YA, I guess, but I don't want it to fall into any stereotypical tropes, and I'm hoping that by like the third or fourth read after this, it would have fully succeeded in portraying the message that I'm hoping to portray without needing to rely on any cliches or like fantasy tropes or anything like that. I really want this to be a relatively original piece of work. There are definitely a lot of things I've drawn inspiration from. I don't want to give away too much. Maybe later in the vlog I'll talk about it more. Yeah, I don't want to spoil the idea too much. I don't think this exact story has been told like this before. So I'm hoping it's a novel idea. I'm hoping it's a good idea. Whenever I've mentioned it to friends, they've seemed really interested in what the concept would look like. So this is my attempt. I know it's a good idea. I'm just really worried I'm not talented enough to execute. But you know what? Because I'm the one who had the idea, I've got to try. I don't know if any of that made any sense. Maybe you can relate to like this whole issue, but come along with me for the ride and let's get to it. I spent the first bit of the morning just reading through everything I'd previously written for this story, as well as the storyboard, so I remembered all the characters' names, especially what I had written already, where I had started guiding the plot, and it helped a lot with just picking up from where I left off. I had previously written 12,613 words, so once I'd read through everything, I just got to it and started writing. So quick update, I've written just under 1,000 words in an hour and a half, 2 hours. I'm not making as much progress as I wanted to. I know that might sound like a lot, but I'm normally quite a quick typer, but I think because I've taken a few months off of this story, I think it's taken me a while to get back into it. And a lot of the time I've just been like staring into space, trying to think about like how this character would actually act and like where do I want this to go, like with a specific plot point and stuff like that. I don't want to have to make too many edits to the main plot lines. I want it to all kind of flow really well so that I don't get into the story and I'm like, fuck, this doesn't make sense. So that is my goal. So I am giving everything I do a lot of thought before writing it. My goal was to write around 1,500 to 2,000 words today. So I'm getting there. I have a lot of other things I need to do as well. I can't just write. Doing an internship at the moment. So I have to do some more research for a project that I'm working on for that. And I really wanted to film a video today about my experience in Morocco because I went to Morocco recently. But yeah, so I have lots of things I want to do. I'm feeling pretty optimistic. Update time. Okay, I've written just over 1,600 words now. I'm pretty brain dead, so I might take a break. I managed to record the other video about Morocco successfully, so I am doing other things. I think I might take a break, work on some internship stuff, have dinner, and if I'm still feeling like super motivated, I might keep writing, but honestly, like the creative juices have leached out of me. I had a solid like hour where I was just like going strong, powering through, and it felt really good. I definitely feel like I'm back in the story now. I feel like I have a clear idea of where I'm going, what I want to do with it, and what the next couple chapters are going to look like. I'm gonna go do other things. I am ready to write. Last time I wrote just over like 1,700 words. So today I'm hoping to stick to a similar number, anything between 1,700, 2,000 words. I'll be happy. I wanted originally to try write more, but I don't think that's possible because I have my part-time job today and I have a driving lesson and I have a French lesson. So it's such a busy day that I think putting that extra pressure on myself would be kind of cruel. Yeah, if I'm feeling really motivated, I'll probably work later tonight, but I'm not gonna put the pressure on myself to do that. I have a set goal and I'll be really happy if I achieve it. I'm already feeling so much more like in the story. I've actually kind of changed since I've been writing it now. I've kind of changed the direction I wanted to go in a little bit, and I'm actually much happier with that. So my current word count is around 14,700 words, and I know that doesn't maybe necessarily sound like a lot, but to me it's a really big deal because I feel like I never make it past this point. I never make it past like the 15,000 mark. So if I can get to 20,000, it'll be a really big motivator to just keep pushing, keep going. And next thing you know, I'll be at 30,000, 40,000, and then we're basically almost done. I was also hoping to get in a run today, if possible. I really think I'm being overly ambitious with my time because I have a lot to do. This is my current setup, so I can do work and then also write on the side. So I've only written a few hundred words at the moment, but I have my driving lesson soon, so I might need to wrap it up. I can tell my brain is actually feeling a bit tired today. I don't know why, but it's made getting back into everything a bit slower, so I can tell my brain is functioning a bit slower than normal, but should hopefully still hit the target today. Wish me luck for 2 hours on the road. Oh my god, what a day. So I finished my driving lesson, I went on a run, I had my French lesson and it was 2 hours and the driving lesson was 2 hours, so I lost so much time. But here I am, a broken woman. The driving lesson broke my spirit today. I went through so many giant roundabouts with so many lanes. It was so stressful. It was not a vibe. It was not a vibe. I didn't kill anyone, but by the end I felt like killing someone because it was so stressful. But anyway, here we are at 10 at night. Great. I still have 1,000 words to write in theory. Am I gonna be able to do that tonight? Let's see. This can be a fun experiment to how far we can push Tamrin before she breaks as a human being. But I really, really want to meet my goal. Like, I think I'll be really disappointed in myself if I don't. So we're gonna take the risk of just further breaking my spirit and we're just gonna go for it. I've written around 1,300 words. I can go on no longer. I really was planning on just pushing, but I've actually fully lost all motivation and like creative juices. So I just found I was just like staring at my screen blankly and like zoning out, and I was like, this is not a productive writing thing at all. I'm gonna go to bed. I'm gonna reward myself and go to bed even though I didn't hit my target. It's okay. Thank you for your support. I can totally feel it from afar. I can tell you're really rooting for me and it's what's keeping me going, so thank you so much. Also, something I keep meaning to say is I'm so sorry that it looks like I live in a prison cell. I can't put anything on my walls. I just moved into a new flat and I can't put anything on my walls because they're coming to repaint, because I don't know if you can see, there's like literal like chunks of paint off my walls. So they're coming to fully repaint, which means I can't put anything on the walls until they've repainted. So it kind of just looks like I'm living the most minimal life ever, but I swear I have so many framed pictures to put up when it's repainted. I'm a much more interesting person than my room suggests. And that's all I have to say. Okay, good night. Tragically, on Wednesday, I started my period and I was rendered incapacitated. Hi, I am still feeling like shit today. My period has really fucking taken me out for some reason this month. Although I've had these goals of like writing between 1,500, 2,000 words a day, I think that can also be incredibly intimidating when I know I probably can't do that because I'm busy or I'm not feeling well, such as now. And I think what's more important is keeping it a habit and doing it frequently, even if it's in little bits. So I thought I would write today, but not put pressure on myself. If I write 200 words, like that's fine. If I can just say that I did something today, if I contributed to the Word document at all, I'll be happy. I don't know. Initially, I was like, there's no point in writing if I can't write a large amount, but that's not how it works. And that's how I've so easily fallen off of other projects, because I get so in my head about having a minimum, and if I can't meet that minimum, then like there's no point in me doing it that day. So yeah, it just kind of takes the fun out of it and it puts too much pressure on myself. So yeah, I'm gonna be kind to myself. I'm gonna write, but it can be however much I want. And I thought that's a good message for anyone out there who's an aspiring writer. Consistency is more important than quantity. I'm also making cookies today as a comfort food, so that should be exciting. They're actually gonna be red bean paste and chocolate chip cookies, so I'm really fucking excited. It should be really good. Like, red bean paste and dark chocolate are two of my favorite things, so I'm really excited to put them in together in cookie form. It's gonna be a very chill day. So tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like my tattoos really pop in this shirt. Like, I don't know why, but they just look so good. It makes me so happy. Anyway, that's all I had to say. Goodbye.
We'll be ready for the end of the world, you know. We've been told that we've been so bad. We'll be living in these tenements forever, getting rolled back, getting.
The cookies came out so well. They were so delicious. It was from the recipe book, The Korean Vegan. Really fucking love that book. It's such a great recipe book, and the cookies were just as expected. Absolutely amazing. 10 out of 10 combination. Was very pleased. Time may have gotten away from me. It might be the end of the day. It might be 10 p.m. But like I said, it's not about the words today. It's about actually having contributed something to the document. I did have a lovely day, but I just have not had time to write. I ended up cleaning my entire house and then doing my part-time job and then going to a pole dancing lesson and then cooking dinner, which was a pie, and it was lovely, and then making those aforementioned cookies. Now here I am. So I actually wrote more than I thought I would. I wrote 845 words, which is more than the 200 I anticipated. It's annoying because I'm literally like 73 words away from hitting 16,000, but it's fine. I'm calling it quits. I'm kind of tired. I finished a chapter, which I'm really happy with because I was struggling with how to round this chapter off for a while, which is also why I think like I just needed time to like stir into space and think. But I finally finished. I'm really happy because it all came together quite well at the end of the chapter. So yeah, a successful writing session, I have to say. I feel like everything's kind of falling into place. It can be a bit frustrating because I can be a bit of an intuitive writer. Like I definitely plan things out to an extent, but I still definitely write very intuitively, and I definitely flesh things out and certain aspects of the plot out as I'm writing, which can make it a very like frustrating experience because I don't always quite know where it's going. Sometimes I have to go back and change things so that there aren't inconsistencies and things like that. It's definitely a bit of a long way round of writing, I think, because in my mind, it means a lot more redrafting once you've fully written the story to really clean it up, make it something really good. I think the first draft is always going to be a bit rough, but at the same time, it's the only way I know how to write. I try plan things out, and I do have like a storyboard, but I can only plan things out to a certain extent, and I feel like so many cool ideas come to me when I'm actually writing, and sometimes when I get to a certain point I'll have had a plan for it, but when I get there it doesn't actually feel right, and so I'll change it. So yeah, it's definitely, I know a lot of people who do write like that, so I don't think there's any issue with it. It does make the process a bit slower though, and it does mean sometimes I'm just staring into space, like trying to plot things out in my head. But yeah, it's been a good day. Tomorrow I'm actually going to London for the weekend because I'm gonna see a bunch of friends, and a friend of a friend has a wrestling match, so I'm gonna go to that. I'm not someone who is a big fan of hyper masculine sports and acts of violence, so it's definitely not quite my scene. You never know, maybe it'll be really cool and enjoyable, and I'm looking forward to seeing my friends, and I think it's gonna be a really fun weekend. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna try write on the bus on the way to London tomorrow, so you will probably see me then. Hi, it seems that we have come to an end. I am officially back from London. It was such a wild weekend. It was so crazy. It was so social because I went to the wrestling and then I went out with my friend and her flatmates to a club, which was an okay experience. And the next day I went, my friend teaches yoga, so I went to her yoga class, and then I met up with another friend, and then I ended up having to like sprint through London because the tubes had stopped working and I was gonna miss my bus back to Bristol, and then I did miss my bus back to Bristol, and then I had to pay money for another bus. So all in all, wild weekend. I feel like it was the most social I've been in a while and I was so drained after it. But on the way there, I did manage to write. In total this week, I've written 3,863 words, which to some might sound like a lot, to some might sound like very little to have written in a week. I'm pretty satisfied with it because that versus 0 words for like a few months is a pretty big improvement. Also, I have to take into consideration that I have a part-time job, that I'm doing a bunch of other things like going on runs and doing pole dancing and doing ballet, and trying to get back into video editing, and I'm currently editing my Moroccan trip. So this isn't like the sole thing I'm doing. I'm also like socializing, seeing friends. I know a lot of people who do writing vlogs write really intense amounts in a really small amount of time. I do that too. Like I'll sometimes have a weekend where I'll just bash out like 10,000 words, and that can be really satisfying in itself, and I am hoping to do something like that quite soon actually. But from a more sustainable point of view, I think writing something like this per week is much more manageable for me, much more sustainable long term. And I think it'll actually get me to where I need to be, which is at like 90,000 words. So yeah, I think this has been really helpful. Like having this accountability with you has made a huge difference. Obviously I've written, which is really cool. I think I will definitely try and keep doing something like this in the future because it's really fun. Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. It's been a really positive experience. Thank you so much for coming along with me. If you are in the midst of a writing journey, do let me know. If you have any tips as well for how to like consistently write and any methods that you use, that would be really useful because I'm just kind of feeling around in the dark. There's a lot of things that don't work for me, some things that do, but a lot of it I'm just still figuring out and kind of fitting things in when I can around my life. I love the idea of like just going somewhere. I've constantly, ever since I went to Budapest in 2019, I've romanticized the idea of going there for a month and staying in like a one-person apartment, which is really cheap on Airbnb there, and just having like a mini writing retreat in Budapest. I have like romanticized this so much to the point where I just don't think I could ever live up to my hopes for it. I follow someone who's like a booktuber who actually did that, but she went to Paris and like had inspirational writing times there, and maybe I should do that, you know? Anyway, sorry, I'm getting really carried away, but I think it's always really exciting, and I've almost like woken up a certain part of myself that has been sleeping whenever I get back into creative pursuits such as this. So it's been really satisfying, and I really hope that I'm able to maintain it during crazy university times. Thank you so much for coming along. I've really appreciated it. Goodbye.